Recently, Latvia has captured their first medal in history, winning bronze. So today we're going to be putting Latvia into the NHL and winning them a Stanley Cup. And to do that, we're going to add one superstar to the team at the end of every season until they're eventually good enough to win the Stanley Cup. But to do that, we're going to have to replay the 2022-2023 season over and over again. So when we look at awards and the year never changes, that's why. But in year number one, we're going to start with the vanilla Team Latvia. And unsurprisingly, they would finish last place in the NHL with a 14-62-6 record, earning 34 points, with Balcers leading the team in goals with 22 and in points with 52. On the right side, they do have Merzlikins as their goalie, yet a 916 save percentage and a 3.22 goals against average, only winning 11 games out of 63 played. And Kucherov would lead the NHL in points with 103, while him and Ovechkin would lead the league in goals with 55. And the way we're going to add players to this team is I'm going to take one player of my choice from the Stanley Cup winning team, and this year it was the Vancouver Canucks who beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games in the finals. I just realized I forgot to show the awards from last season, but I went with the playoff MVP himself, Elias Pettersson. And obviously one player can't make too much of a difference, but the team did better, a 23-49-10 record, earning 56 points but still finishing in last place. Pettersson led the team in points with 85 and in goals with 31, and Nathan MacKinnon would lead the league in points with 105, while it would be Alex Ovechkin once again leading the league in goals with 55. We will not be adding Nathan MacKinnon just yet though, as the New York Rangers would beat the Colorado Avalanche in 6 games to lift the Stanley Cup. Nathan MacKinnon would win regular season MVP, John Carlson would win the James Norris Trophy, while Panarin would win playoff MVP, Allmark would win the Vezina, and the William M. Jennings Trophy. Well, since we have one of the best goaltenders in front of us, I decided to end our goaltending problem early. I'm fine with Merzlikins in the backup position. We took Igor Shesterkin from the Rangers. And Latvia would remain in last place with a 23-52-7 record, earning 53 points, while Pettersson led the team in points with 86 and in goals with 38. Shesterkin not doing too hot. He did have 3 shutouts, but a 908 save percentage and a 3.33 goals against average, only winning 19 games out of 68 played. For the second time already today, Kucherov led the league in points with 104, and him and Ovi tied once again in goals with 54. That means Ovi has at least tied for first place in goals every season so far. We're getting weird Stanley Cup winners today, I'm not gonna lie. The New York Islanders defeat the Vegas Golden Knights in 6 games in the finals to lift the Stanley Cup. Kucherov won regular season MVP, Victor Hedman won the James Norris, Barzal was your playoff MVP, while Sorokin won the Vezina and the William M. Jennings Trophy. I decided to add the shutdown defenseman Adam Pelech to the squad, and the team would not finish last place for the first time ever. They finished 31st with a 35-41-6 record, earning 76 points. They actually tied Arizona for 30th. I don't know what the heck happened to the Philadelphia Flyers, but they only had 54 points. Probably better not to ask. Pettersson continues to lead the way in points with 91. He'd also lead the team in goals with 34. And Robertson and Draisaitl both tied to lead the league in points with 101, while it would be Jason Robertson leading the league in goals with 54. And the Carolina Hurricanes are your Stanley Cup champions after beating the Calgary Flames in 5 games in the finals. 24 points for Necas led the way, while Necas and MacKinnon both tied to lead the league in playoff goals with 11. And with that being said, somehow Aho would win the Conn Smythe Trophy.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Obviously, it made the most sense to add Necas, so that's what I did. Pettersson is still the king of the team, 92 points to lead, as well as leading goals with 44. Necas only scoring 18 goals in 82 games played, but he scored 11 goals in 21 games played for Carolina last year in the playoffs. We had a significant downgrade this year, tying for last place with Arizona, a 26-49-7 record, earning 59 points. Brad Marchand would lead the entire league in points with 107, while it would be Patrick Laine leading the league in goals with 57. Hey, and we might have got a realistic Stanley Cup champion, as the Florida Panthers would beat the Anaheim Ducks in 7 games in the finals to lift the Stanley Cup. Barkov had a 30-point performance in the playoffs, while it would be Tkachuk, Perry, and Zegras all tying to lead the league in playoff goals with 12. And of course, I had to go with Matthew Tkachuk, the highest overall player on our team now. And with our best performance by far, Latvia would finish 25th in the entire league with a 37-38-7 record, earning 81 points. We're actually only 3 points behind the final wildcard playoff spot, and Tkachuk would steal the crown from Pettersson, leading the team in points with 91 and in goals with 42. Looking at Shesterkin, he had 30 wins, he had 6 shutouts, a 9.25 save percentage, and a 2.65 goals against average. So definitely his best showing as well. 109 points for Nathan MacKinnon would have him leading the league, while it would be Matthews leading the league in goals with 64. Well, we had the Florida win, so we had to get the Vegas win, and we get it right after, as Vegas would beat Carolina in the finals in 6 games. It would not even be a Vegas Golden Knight leading the playoffs in points. It'd be Max Pacioretty on Carolina with 29, though he did play 3 more games than Vegas players. I'm choosing Jack Eichel. I mean, the man hasn't lost a playoff series yet, so he's got to be good luck, right? That might finally change, though, as we're actually in the playoffs for the first time with a 40-33-9 record, earning 89 points, finishing 14th in the entire league. The 19th place Minnesota Wild made the playoffs, but the 13th place Montreal Canadiens did not. So the Western Conference just sucked this year compared to the East, I guess. It's a good thing we're in the West. 88 points for Tkachuk led the team, while it would be Pettersson and Eichel tying the team in goals with 36. McKinnon was first place in the league in points with 107, while Rantanen was second with 104. And it would be Kucherov leading the league in goals with 53. Their first ever playoff series as Team Latvia is against the Winnipeg Jets. Let's see how it goes. The answer is sadly not good, as we would lose in 6 games. Can't say I'm surprised, but it still hurts a little bit. And the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Edmonton Oilers in the finals. I mean, I'm fine with both those teams, but I really want McDavid for some reason. We'll probably have to grab more defensemen soon, but for now, I'm taking Kucherov. A 94 overall makes him the best on our team. Sadly, no back-to-back playoffs for us. We'd finish with a 39, a 36, and 7 record, earning 85 points, finishing 22nd in the entire league. On the bright side, we get our first 100-point player in Nikita Kucherov, obviously leading our team, as well as leading our team in goals with 47. Connor McDavid would tie Ovechkin to lead the league in goals with 53, and it would be McDavid leading the league in points with 113. Is it finally Edmonton's year? It was not Edmonton's year. They got swept in the first round by Winnipeg, and the Colorado Avalanche are your Stanley Cup champions after beating the Pittsburgh Penguins in 5 games in the final. And it'd be Rantanen leading the league in playoff points with 33 and in playoff goals with 16. And I mean, I make fun of this guy for winning MVP all the time, so I had to take Nathan MacKinnon, as we tie for first place in our division with 102 points, as well as tying for 3rd place in the entire NHL. We had a 47, 27, and 8 record. Nathan MacKinnon would lead our team in points with 103, while it would be Kucherov leading our team in goals with 43. And we finally had the point leader in the league, as MacKinnon led the league in points with his 103, but it would be DeBrincat on Ottawa leading the league in goals with 50. And we're playing the team we literally just stole MacKinnon from in the first round. Can this be our first playoff round victory? It's looking like no. A McKinnon-less Colorado Avalanche would beat us in 5 games. I really thought it was time to take a defenseman, but that's not happening, as the Toronto Maple Leafs would beat the Colorado Avalanche in 7 games in the finals to lift the Stanley Cup. And obviously the one man I had in mind is Austin Matthews. Even though he's playing second fiddle to MacKinnon at center right now, it just makes the most sense. Latvia would finish 6th place in the entire league with a 46, 28, and 8 record, earning 100 points on the dot. They would technically tie for 5th. Nathan MacKinnon would lead the team in points with 97 and in goals with 47. And the man we let Colorado keep, Mikko Rantanen, would lead the league in points with 106 and in goals with 58. Well, folks, it might be happening. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. It's Team Latvia versus the Washington Capitals. If we don't win it here, I'm scared of how long it's going to take to win. We do get Ovechkin at the end of the year at the worst case scenario. Period number 1. No score. It's going to be one of these games. Period number 2, of course, 3-0 Washington. And we get 1 back. We only have 13 shots in the entire game so far. We get another 1 back. Dogovins? Could there be a small sliver of hope left in Latvia? They still have time. They just need 1 more goal to tie it. They did not do it, and we would lose 3-2 in game 7, and we have to keep going. We beat Dallas in 6 games in the first round, beat Colorado in 5 games in the second round, and beat Seattle in the conference finals in 6 games. And our newly added Alexander Ovechkin finished with 114 points, while also leading the team in goals with 43. Also forgot to mention the fact that Team Latvia actually finished first in the entire NHL with a 56, 23, and 3 record, earning 115 points. Sadly, the President's Trophy curse would hit us hard, as we'd lose to the New York Rangers in the Stanley Cup Finals. Not only lose, we get swept. May I also remind you that they don't even have Shesterkin in net. We'll have to see who they're using. Who swept Team Latvia? It was Yaroslav Halak, 38-year-old Yaroslav Halak. I gave them Godzlevskis, as you can see, because I had to get rid of a goalie. Or I had to give the Rangers an extra goalie, and he won a Stanley Cup before us. I'm basically in speedrun mode at this point. We added Adam Fox from the Rangers, makes the most sense. And we're back on top of the league once again. It means we won the President's Trophy, which means we're probably going to get the President's Trophy curse. Kucherov and MacKinnon both led our team in points with 115. We also had another 100-point player in Ovechkin, and it would be Matthews leading our team in goals with 48. Kucherov and MacKinnon did lead the league in points, while McDavid led the league in goals with 51. Please win a dang Stanley Cup so you can join the team.
No.
Well, looks like I'm adding another defenseman, as the Winnipeg Jets would beat the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 games in the finals to lift the Stanley Cup. We would lose to Winnipeg in the second round in 5 games. Josh Morrissey is the one joining the team this time. And we are once again first place in the entire NHL with a 60, 17, and 5 record, earning 125 points. Ovechkin led our team with 98 points, while it would be Matthews leading the team in goals with 54. With his 54 goals, tying Rantanen for most in the entire NHL, while Connor McDavid would lead the league in points with 113. And the Colorado Avalanche win the Stanley Cup once again, beating Florida in 6 games in the finals. And the most wins in a season yet for the boys, a 62, 16, and 4 record. They'd earn 128 points, finishing first in the entire NHL. Guess who's second? Mr. McDavid boy, who refuses to win a cup, so he can't join the team. Ovechkin had 107 points to lead our team, while also leading our team in goals with 52. Ovechkin would lead the entire league in points with his 107, also lead the entire league in goals with his 52. And the boys have finally done it. They have won the Stanley Cup after beating the Boston Bruins in 6 games in the finals. And as you are looking at right now, Elvis Merzlikins was the goalie who got it done. I'll explain why that happened in a second. The Conn Smythe goes to Austin Matthews. He went off in the playoffs. And the captain is Alexander Ovechkin. I had no idea who it was. He'll be the first man to lift the cup for Team Latvia, and he has decided to pass the cup to Kasperi Daugavins, which I think makes the most sense. He's one of the last remaining Latvians on the team. So you guys probably noticed this when we were looking at stats, but I didn't even notice. I apparently forgot to turn injuries off, because we usually play with injuries off. I did not do that for this last season. Shesterkin got hurt at the end of the conference finals, so Merzlikins had to come in the Stanley Cup finals, and he did get the job done. And in terms of playoff points for the boys, Kucherov and Matthews tied with 30. Kucherov playing 2 more games. Kucherov would also have the most goals with 15. And look at the playoff tree. We swept Vegas in the first round, beat Minnesota in 6 games in the second round, Calgary in 7 games in the conference finals, and then beat Boston in 6 games in the Stanley Cup finals. And we might as well take a look at the awards for the final season. The regular season MVP, it was Alex Ovechkin. Victor Hedman won the James Norris Trophy. Austin Matthews is your playoff MVP, while Shesterkin won the Vezina Trophy and the William M. Jennings Trophy. The final number of players added to Team Latvia before they could win a Stanley Cup was 13. Shout out to Merzlikins for showing up when it matters most in the Stanley Cup finals. That is going to be it for me today. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.